Temu's prices look impossible. A smartwatch for less than a coffee. A kitchen gadget for the price of a bus ticket. A pair of earbuds so cheap, you almost wonder if the price is real. But Temu is not just a cheap shopping app. It is one of the most aggressive e-commerce machines ever built. The ads are everywhere. The discounts never seem to end. And behind every $2 product is one uncomfortable question. Who is really paying for this? Because a product does not become cheap by magic. Someone has to make it. Someone has to package it. Someone has to ship it across the world. Someone has to pay for the coupons, the refunds, the discounts, and the ads that follow you from one app to the next. The price tag got smaller, but the cost did not disappear. It simply moved somewhere the customer could not see. And once you follow that cost, Temu stops looking like a store. It starts looking like a system. At first, Temu feels harmless. You open the app for one small thing. Maybe a charger, maybe a phone case, maybe something you do not even need. But within seconds, the app pulls you into a world of tiny prices, flashing discounts, countdown timers, reward wheels, and products you did not even know existed. Everything feels easy. Everything feels cheap. Everything feels like a deal that might disappear if you wait too long. And that is the genius of it. Temu does not feel like a serious financial decision. It feels like a game, a tiny purchase, a harmless scroll, a quick reward. But that feeling is exactly what makes the company so powerful. Because every scroll teaches the platform something. Every click shows what catches your attention. Every abandoned cart reveals what price almost made you buy. Every coupon tests how little resistance is left between curiosity and checkout. That is when the app stops feeling harmless. Because Temu is not only trying to sell you products, it is trying to understand how to make you buy faster, more often, and with less hesitation. But to understand how Temu became this powerful, we cannot start with the app. We have to look behind the curtain. Temu did not come out of nowhere. Behind the orange app is PDD Holdings, the company behind Pinduoduo, one of China's most important e-commerce platforms. And that matters, because PDD had already learned how to turn discounts, data, and scale into a weapon. Before Temu became famous around the world, PDD had already built experience connecting massive numbers of consumers with massive numbers of merchants. It understood how to create demand. It understood how to push prices down. It understood how buying behavior changes when shopping starts to feel social, urgent, and addictive. So when Temu launched internationally, it did not behave like a normal new shopping brand. It did not quietly wait to be discovered. It arrived like a flood. One day, most people had barely heard of it. The next, it was everywhere. In your search results, in your social media feed, inside mobile games, on websites, in video ads, and eventually, even in some of the most expensive advertising slots in the world. Temu had one message, repeated again and again. Shop like a billionaire. That slogan was not just a joke. It was a psychological attack on normal pricing. It told customers that cheap was not cheap. Cheap was smart. Cheap was winning. Cheap was proof that everyone else had been charging too much. And once customers start believing that, Temu is no longer only competing with other shopping apps. It is competing with the entire idea of what a fair price should be. But here's the part most people miss. Temu's real advantage is not simply that products come from China. That explanation is too easy. The real advantage is that Temu is trying to collapse the distance between factory supply and global demand. In traditional retail, a product can move through a long chain. Factory, exporter, importer, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, customer. Every layer adds cost. Every layer adds margin. Every layer makes the final price heavier. Temu tries to attack those layers. This is not just e-commerce. It is a pipeline. Factory supply on one side, global demand on the other. Temu in the middle. And the promise is simple. Make the distance between them feel almost invisible. That is why the low prices matter. They are not just a marketing trick. They're the front end of a much larger system. But a pipeline only matters if enough people move through it. And that is where Temu's second machine begins. Attention. Temu did not just sell cheap products. It bought attention at scale. The company flooded the internet with ads, discounts, and offers designed to remove the friction from the first purchase. Because the hardest part of e-commerce is not always selling the second item. It is getting the first click, the first install, the first checkout, the first moment where a stranger becomes a customer. So Temu made that moment feel almost too easy to refuse. Every screen gives you a reason to keep moving. One more product, one more coupon, one more deal, one more chance to feel like you found something before it disappeared. That is not just marketing, that is behavior design. The app is not only asking what you want to buy, it is asking how long it can keep you moving. And this is where the story gets darker. Because if Temu spends heavily to get your attention and sells products at prices that feel almost impossible, the pressure has to go somewhere. Cheap for the customer does not mean cheap for the system. Someone still has to carry the cost. But pressure never disappears. It moves. And in Temu's model, that pressure appears to move backward through the chain, away from the customer, toward the people, systems, and businesses behind the product. That is what makes Temu powerful. And that is what makes it controversial. Because when a platform becomes large enough, it does not need to own every product to shape the market. It only needs to control attention. If millions of customers expect ultra-low prices and thousands of merchants compete for those customers, the platform becomes more than a marketplace. It becomes a price-setting environment. It can influence what gets seen, what gets clicked, what gets bought, which sellers win, which sellers disappear, and what price customers start to believe is normal. But the same speed that made Temu dangerous to competitors also made it dangerous to itself. Because the faster a platform grows, the harder it becomes to control. The more products it lists, the harder they are to police. The more sellers it attracts, the harder they are to verify. The more personalized the recommendations become, the harder it is to understand what each customer is actually being pushed toward. And eventually, the system pushes back. Regulators started paying attention. In the European Union, Temu became large enough to fall under stricter rules for very large online platforms. And in 2024, the European Commission opened a formal investigation into the company under the Digital Services Act. The concerns were not only about cheap prices. They included illegal products, product safety, recommendation systems, game-like reward features, and the way the platform gives researchers access to data. In other words, Europe was not just asking whether Temu was cheap. It was asking whether Temu was safe at scale. And that question became even bigger in 2026, when the European Commission fined Temu 200 million euros under the Digital Services Act. Speed is the advantage, but speed is also the risk. The same system that can move products faster than traditional retail can also make problems move faster. Bad listings, unsafe products, misleading offers, unverified sellers, confusing recommendations. At small scale, those are operational problems. At Temu scale, they become systemic risks. And now the original question comes back. Who is really paying for this? The answer is not one person. It is a chain of pressure. The platform pays through discounts, advertising, and regulatory risk. Suppliers pay through margin pressure and constant competition. Consumers may pay through quality issues, waiting times, returns, or products that do not match expectations. And society pays when regulators, inspectors, and enforcement systems have to catch up after the machine has already scaled. That is the dark truth behind Temu's impossible prices. The price tag is not the whole price. It is only the part you can see. But Temu's story is not only a warning. It is also a lesson about the future of e-commerce. Because Temu understood something extremely powerful. People do not only buy products. They buy the feeling of winning. The feeling that they found the deal. The feeling that they beat the system. The feeling that they got something for almost nothing. And in a world where everything feels more expensive, that feeling is almost impossible to ignore. That is why Temu grew so fast. Not because every product was perfect, not because every customer trusted it completely, but because it made shopping feel like a game where the next better deal was always one click away. And that may be the real business model. Not the products, not the coupons, not even the ads. The real business model is expectation. Temu is training millions of customers to believe that products should be cheaper, faster, easier, and more entertaining than traditional retailers can afford to make them. And once that expectation changes, every other retailer has a problem. Because Temu is not only competing for money, it is competing for the customer's idea of what a fair price should be. But the final question is whether this machine can keep running. Can Temu continue spending heavily on attention? Can it keep prices low if shipping rules change, tariffs rise, or regulators demand more control? Can it keep customers excited after the first wave of curiosity fades? Can it protect trust while moving at massive speed? That is the gamble. If Temu can solve those problems, it may become one of the most important e-commerce platforms in the world. But if the pressure becomes too high, the same machine that made Temu explode could start working against it. Because the danger of building a business on impossible prices is simple. Eventually, someone asks what made them possible. And when that happens, the story is no longer about cheap gadgets. It is about power. Power over suppliers. Power over attention. Power over expectations. Power over the future of online shopping. That is the dark truth behind Temu's impossible prices. The customer sees the deal, but the machine decides what the deal really costs. If you want to see more videos about the hidden business models behind the world's fastest growing companies, subscribe to the Scaling Blueprint. And tell us in the comments which company we should investigate next.